What's the name of this
Oh
pod?
yeah, what's our show?
The podcast is Tired, the car podcast for people who understand that cars are bad, with your friends Rory Carroll, Matthew Riley, and me, Peter Hughes.
I feel like there's more car news out there.
There's been a lot, and I do
Yeah.
have, I do have. I mean, there's been some big. I mean, did you have stuff in mind, Rory?
No, my mind is totally blank and has been for weeks. So
Okay.
I don't know anything. I'm happy to react to things. I know that there's the new
Okay.
the little Land Cruiser thing, the little baby Land Cruiser. You see that?
Oh, the Toyota, the FJ or whatever.
Yeah, it's like a
Little baby
Wrangler
FJ
size. Yeah, but
that we
not-
don't get. We're not going to get.
No,
So
probably not.
Damn.
yeah,
Oh, that's cute.
But it looks cool. Yeah.
I did see that. Mm-hmm.
Did you see?
Yeah.
There was that. There was. Did you see they stopped producing the ID Buzz Volkswagen,
Yeah,
the little van?
saw that.
I did see that. Sagging
selling 'em.
demand.
Yeah,
Yep.
it's tough. People are.
Yeah,
People are.
shocker that nobody wants a $70,000
Minivan.
electric
Weird.
minivan that would be a great road trip family vehicle, except that the range is like less than 200 miles. And
No, it's like 220, 250 or something like that.
Whoa.
I mean, I honestly
I
like.
think officially it is. I think that's the claim. I think the real world numbers are considerably lower. Yeah.
It honestly like the price thing is. It's tough, but I always my initial response is always like 70 grand. Like that's a lot of fucking money. Cause like, in my head, it's like, that's like a Dodge Viper. But I always also have to look like the average transaction price in the US is like over 50. So like the average car in the US is
it's
over
now
50.
it's now 50. It's
Yeah.
officially above 50 now.
Yeah. So it's like,
Fucking crazy to me.
yeah. So it's like, I don't know. Is that crazy or does it just seem like a lot to me because I'm cheap? I don't know. I think the consensus does seem to be that it's too expensive. But I think about like the way that we use a car in town, and like the ID Buzz would actually be perfect for us, as far as like if we had whatever wagon or whatever to do trips out to New York or like longer road trip stuff. And then had an ID Buzz for like our day-to-day car. Like it would be much better at day-to-day stuff than the Rivian is. Easier to get in and out of, easier to load kids in and out of. There's more seating.
Yeah.
And it like is not, it's like less car. You know what I mean? Like it's less. It's not as fast. It's not like it's crazy.
Yeah.
And it would actually make a ton of sense in our lives. But at that point, it would be a third modern car, like a third grown-up car, which is just like, I don't have 70 grand to spend. In fact, I don't have, I think I literally have negative dollars in my bank account currently. So I don't, you know what I mean? Like it just doesn't enter into, but that was like our original plan. Like before we bought the Rivian, my plan was to buy an ID Buzz, like a base ID Buzz,
Yeah.
and keep the GX. So keep the GX for like a road trip car, but the ID Buzz was going to take forever. And the Rivian was offering those leases, so we got the Rivian. But I think like that to me is like that kind of is the use case for an EV. It's like a in town, super practical runabout.
No, that's the thing. No, perfect. I mean, especially if you're a homeowner or if your situation is such that you have a place to plug it in routinely, whether you can charge at work or whatever, it makes all the sense in the world. Fucking everybody should have EVs. But if you don't have those things, then it's a much more difficult proposition.
Totally. And I just the price. it's another one of those classic like EV things where it's like if one aspect of the product offering is slightly off, it doesn't work at all. So it's like, oh, the price, you know what I mean? Like, or like,
Right.
and in
Yeah,
a
yeah,
lot
yeah.
of cases, it's like the classic thing is like the EV pickup truck thing where it's like
Right.
it it does so much. They're so practical for so many reasons, but like the fundamental thing is like the full size pickup truck buyer does not want an electric car. The electric car buyer does not want a pickup truck.
Yeah.
That's
Full size pickup truck.
yeah, and like that's it. And
Yeah.
it's like it doesn't matter how technically impressive the car is, what it can do, like all the different the advantages versus a gas car or whatever. It's like if there's one thing that's off, it kind of fucks the whole deal. And I think like that's the kind of the ID buzz thing too. It's like there's also any kind of gimmicky car like that where there's like oddball styling. I think like the ID Buzz is really successful styling wise. I think it's a really pretty car.
Oh yeah.
Um, but
No, people love it. I mean, I see them around town.
yeah,
There's a handful of them around town, and it always like, yeah, it's fun.
yeah,
It's
but
like they have real colors. It's a
I
quirky
think
shape. It's
I
like,
think
yeah,
the average person though, like the average car buyer, is very hesitant to have fun when
True.
it comes to that kind of stuff. Like it's like they might like the idea of it and they might like seeing them, but it's like the idea of
hmm
like, oh, can I step out and have a car that's not a RAV4?
right,
Like, oh, I don't know if I could do that. It's like,
There's an
right,
extra
right,
performance tax on something that has novelty value where like it really
yeah,
has to prove itself, or else you start thinking that like maybe the novelty strikes you as kind of a threat where it's like, well, why they need to make it silly? Like what am I
yeah,
missing? Is this trying to trick me? Is there novelty because it's not good?
Well, and you're also just kind of like, you're making yourself,
right, visible,
you know,
Mm,
yeah. It's like
yeah,
you now become. I'm not saying that like you're seeking attention, but you become the center of attention whether you want it or not.
right.
Whereas like, um, unless it gets like adopted on such like a wide scale, where like the original Volkswagen Beetle was
yeah.
very much that to begin with, but then just became this ubiquitous thing, and so it nobody was, you know,
I,
yeah,
I,
there's just so
I,
so many of them around that.
I think now too, it's just like if you look at the way Americans live by and large, like there's just a real hesitancy to step
Attract
out.
attention to yourself.
I don't think that's the case. I mean, I think there's a lot of attention seeking happening, but as far as like cultural, um, like kind of like signifiers, I think, and like items that people purchase as cultural signifiers, I think
Yeah,
there's like a
conspicuous
real.
consumption stuff.
It's not even like people like to consume, but they like to consume it like they like to buy a very expensive SUV that 20 other people in their town also have.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
but it's like there is a it's like a hyper self-conscious sense of expression where it's like I want to attain the signifier, but I want to attain the one that everyone agrees is the good one. You know what I mean? It's
Right.
like,
You can't be the you don't want no everyone's afraid to be the
Your
weird kid.
your
yeah,
Lexus or your Mercedes.
yeah, and it's like you think about like like the we talked earlier about like this personal luxury coupe thing or whatever, and it's
Yep.
like even something as kind of tepid as like a Lincoln Mark 8, which was like a dentist car 10 years ago or whatever, or 20 years
Right.
ago. It's like that'd be a big swing for most people. You know what I mean? Like that,
Totally.
yeah. Or
Like
like,
now I see that. That's just like a fucking swashbuckling
yeah, that's, yeah,
car, you know?
yeah. It's like Batman. Yeah. But it's like, it is very interesting though, because it's like on the other end of that, there is like the Lamborghini buyer, you know, the, that kind of like hyper expressive, whatever. But even I would say even like in that world, there is a tepidness about how those cars are spec'd, and like I'm gonna buy a GT3 RS, it's gonna be black with gray, you know what I mean? Or like I'm gonna
Yeah.
buy because you got to protect the resale. You got to make sure that when you resell it, there's going to be a market for it or whatever. It's a very strange. I mean, I mean that in a different, like, if we structured this differently, it could be a really interesting episode because now that I'm like kind of unpacking it, it's a really strange problem, and it's a really strange problem for car makers to have too. It's like, how do you hit that balance of like signifier that kind of like identifies you as someone who has the money or whatever,
Mm-hmm.
or like the environmental cred or whatever you want to get, but you don't stand out too much. You know what I mean? Like you don't. It's a really interesting puzzle.
Yeah.
I think it maybe ties into what we were taught. We were just talking about like optimization and how like everybody's hitting. You know, it's not weird anymore to hit 61 homers in your season or whatever. Like, there's something to be said about the atmosphere of optimizing and a sort of hitting kind of an exact spec of like, it's like how TikTok people will do like the trends where it's like, oh, I'm doing clean girl now or whatever,
Yeah,
where
yeah.
it's like there's a specific set of signifiers that you pick up
Yeah,
that
yeah.
people really zero in on and will put together in these really specific arrays, so that by having all of those, the collective effect gives you what you need to be in that mode that you're trying to hit, but it's also the
Yeah.
same mode that 20 other people are trying to hit around you, and so
Yeah,
you
yeah.
all sort of fit, but nobody has to bear the burden of being like the nonconformist or whatever, where like doing all those things you want to do is seen as weird. There's enough people in your niche because your
Yeah.
niche is in some way about optimizing, you know?
And it's yeah, there's like a vernacular around like
Word for it, yeah.
yeah, like it, you know, like this is all within the common vernacular or whatever it's understood. But it is interesting too. It's like, you know, I hadn't thought about like the TikTok part of it, but like there are all these hyper niche, very online driven examples of that, and it's like in my head, I'm thinking about like my neighbors who are like uh the houses up here, the modern farmhouses that are like white with black shutters and have like the
Yes.
board and batten,
Oh,
and it's like I started noticing this.
The rustic farmhouse. That
Yeah.
what's the couple that does the
Chip and Joanna Gaines.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like that shit.
But it's like
Everything's gray.
I started noticing that years and years ago, and it was like such an interesting thing because, like, you know, it's like all these trends too. It was like when those came out, like when that first hit, it was like, oh, that's a very unusual looking house to do like white and black. Like no one was really doing that. Like it was all taupes and, you know, whatever grays, and then it was like this is, you know, very striking, and then it's like now they're everywhere. Now everyone has one, and it's like everyone's looking for their way to have like this individual expression of who they are within a hyper tight set of, you know what I mean, set of mores or whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah, too bad about the ID buzz.
Prescriptions, yeah.
Yeah, too bad about the
Yeah.
ID buzz. I mean, it's like
I wonder if, I mean, like, I wonder if just, and obviously this doesn't apply to like people with like, you know, GT3 RS money or whatever, but just as cars have kind of got, I mean, and you know, and they have gotten more expensive. They've outstripped inflation. You know, it's like you know,
it's a bigger part of your income.
Yeah, and I wonder if just like because it is so much bigger an investment
More risk
for
averse.
most families, it just makes more consumers like that much more conservative about their choices, you know. And
I think
like,
that's
like you say, like resale stuff, you know, like picking like the safest colors or whatever.
I think that's a big part of it.
for
I
it.
think, and I think too, like it does apply to people with GTRS money because it's like no matter what anyone's buying, in most cases they're stretching for it. So like even someone
Yeah.
who's a GT3 RS, you know, you might think of 20 years ago those people being like, you know, like fuck you, this is a toy, like this is just for me. But it's like
Hmm.
I think everyone's kind of self-conscious about like the fact that they're spending more money than they probably would like to on the stuff.
Yeah.
And I also think,
Which makes like the parallel to like those rustic identical farmhouses or whatever like that much more apt
Yes.
because it is more on the order of an investment like a fucking house.
Yep.
yeah, yeah.
Yep.
I think too the other parallel thing that's happening is probably driven by a lot of these factors too is like the car companies. So like the special order car is a extremely rare thing now. You know, it's like
Yeah.
car companies are speccing cars. And then even in the case where like you try to do a build and price on a website or whatever, like you're getting pushed into a car that already exists.
Right.
And mostly car companies, because everything's optimized, because they know what's going to sell, like car companies have built the identical gray middle package, like that's what they're selling. And it's like, I think most people, the process of buying a car is so exhausting to think about in the first place. Like, I would guess something like 95% of people are just like going to the dealership and like having the guy get a car. It's like,
Just going to a
Yeah.
fugue state.
Oh, totally.
yeah. And like, all right,
Yeah,
okay.
no,
how
it's like
much is
going
it
to a
month?
restaurant where the menu is just way too big. You know, it's like my favorite kind of restaurant is the kind where you just fucking walk in and they just start bringing you food that you
Yeah.
don't even get to ask. You know,
Yeah.
it's like you just choose for me. Tell me what I want.
Yeah. I think that's a pretty common. It's fun. It is funny too because it's like even as a kid, like I don't think my parents ever bought a new car when I was a kid, but I remember like neighbors going and like ordering a car.
Oh, my
You know,
dad
like-
did for sure.
Yeah.
When he bought his Firebird, I mean, he spec'd that out exactly how he fucking wanted it. you
Yeah,
know?
that's just not. I don't. I mean, that's
like
very
down
rare.
to like the rear end, axle
Yeah.
ratio or whatever.
Yeah, it doesn't happen like that anymore. And I think like it's it also ties back into that like there's a degree too. This is becoming a book level discussion about the
Good.
the ID buzz, but
do
there's a
it.
level of it too where it's like people are so beat down where it's like the joy of choosing and the joy of building and kind of like self-expression of making those types of choices is just gone for most people.
Oh,
Where
yeah.
it's like, you know what, fuck this. Like, just build me the house. I don't care what it looks like. Just like how
Yeah.
many bedrooms? Okay, great. And it's like, people are so mentally exhausted by their day-to-day life
Yeah.
that I think the idea of like sitting down with a spec sheet, even for me, like the idea of
Yeah.
sitting down with a spec sheet and like trying to choose the axle ratio, it's like, I don't fucking know. Just like, you know what I mean? It's like, just do it the way you want to do it. I don't fucking care.
Yeah. Question though, like, I mean, something that has become, I feel like, increasingly popular just online over the last 10 years. It's just the online configurator, where like as soon as a new car is introduced, it's like it seems like a big part of it, like how people. It's like it's this gamified thing of just like, yeah, go to the configurator and you can spec out, and all the car nerds go and pick their colors and wheels and whatever. But it's never occurred to me that like, is that a way for manufacturers to gauge, like what, I mean, because nobody's actually specking those cars out and then ordering them.
Mm-hmm.
It's always just like you do the configurator thing and then like they show you like like within 500 miles like the cars that are closest to what you
Yeah.
picked and that you can go to the dealer and buy or whatever, the availability. it's not like, you press, order and they build it to to your to your specs. So is that just a way for manufacturers to gather data about what like consumer preferences?
No, I think at that point, like I'm sure that is being stored somewhere, but by the time the configurator comes out, those decisions have kind of been made. Like those cars are built,
Okay.
like the suppliers are ordered, you know what I mean? Like everything's
Right.
kind of set. It really is just a marketing scam to get leads for dealers. So it's like,
Gotcha.
it's like, you know, send your wife or whatever your spec or whatever. Send your friend or whatever. It's like, okay, then they have your email. Then they can continue to kind of harangue. The funny thing about that is though, is like, luckily dealers being like the maybe laziest type of people in the country don't ever follow up on leads.
Follow up.
Obviously. Like they have your phone number, they have your email, they have all your information, but it's like, oh, fuck, I'm not going to call somebody. Like some old lady's going to come in here today and I will sign her up for a 20% interest rate loan. And that'll be my week. Like I'm not going to call somebody. It is too bad about the ID Buzz. I wanted that to work.
Yeah. The other thing that makes me think about is just something I noticed in myself recently, and I wonder if either of you guys share this or if this is a wider signals. Like it feels to me like a little bit of a vibe shift. I saw a story the other day about Cadillac committing to like a next generation of ICE sedan, like internal combustion engine sedan, which is kind of a little bit of a surprise. And what I noticed was my reaction to that was a little bit surprising to me because like, I mean, on the one hand, I welcome that. That's great news. That's cool. Those are cool cars. But like on a deeper level, like almost like a subconscious kind of gut level, the way I registered it was like, it feels like willfully almost reactionary, like old fashioned. Like to me at this point, any manufacturer announcing a new like a new car or a new product line or whatever that isn't like that has like no electrical component, that isn't like even like a hybrid, it seems almost reactionary to me.
I don't. I mean, there's like a bigger thing to that. I think I think in the specific case of the CT5, they still sell pretty well, and the Blackwing is still kind of their halo car. Those sell very well for what they are, and I think that's the decision there.
For what they are. I mean, they're not like,
it's not a volume
the Blackwing
leader.
is not like a volume
No,
car,
but for
right? I mean,
for $100,000 like
Sure.
performance car, like they sell pretty well, and like they're probably making money on them. And I think like it's well liked within the building as far as at GM. Like they like having that car. It gets great press. Like it's a good It's a good halo effect for the brand overall. And I also think like there's not another path for them to do that. Like there's not another car in their immediate future that does all that stuff for them. You know what I mean? Like if they killed CT5, they have a bunch of EV stuff. They have Escalade, but there's no like real performance car that anyone's excited about from Cadillac. If they kill that,
they got to make a Celestica V series
Mini. Oh yeah,
No,
Um,
not mid. Like maxi. Like fucking. I wanna see
700, yeah,
Celestics at Le
3,000
Mans.
horsepower. Yeah.
Yes.
But I think in that specific, I do think there is.
Like a Le
It,
Monster
it's
Celestic. Like
like it's impossible to pass because it takes up the entire
Yeah.
right.
Let's go nuts.
length of the corner. Yeah.
Attention
The
Cadillac, just whip it out. Come on.
the I have thought about this too. The kind of reaction. Um, I don't. I don't feel like it's reactionary more than in the sense of like it's business. You know what I mean? It's like the. I
Yeah,
think,
I don't mean like reactionary in the political sense. Yeah,
yeah. No, but I think
but still kind of like in the sense of just like being like kind of willfully just old fashioned, you know?
yeah, I don't. So I think what's happening is like there was a ton of. This is my read on the whole EV thing, and this is like what I've been saying about it for years. But the in the early aughts, like the teens, I think people on boards at big companies were looking at Tesla's share price, and they were like, "These guys cannot manufacture a car to save their lives. They're not profitable. Why is their share price $600 and ours is 50 or 40 or whatever? We made $12 billion last year. It's like why do we not have this number?" And I think like there was a period where U.S. auto executives would try to explain, or like executives of bigger companies would try to explain to their boards, like, oh, this is fake stock. This is like not priced in the traditional way. You know, it's not. This is not a rational response to earnings or future earnings or whatever.
Yeah. It's a meme stuff.
Yeah, and then there was a period after that where the boards are like, okay, but we still want to have that number. You know what I mean? And I think like you can see like car companies that have that are publicly owned and are very responsive to their boards are the ones generally that made big pronouncements about like, oh, we're going to be all EV by whatever. And there was kind of like a class of more independent minded automakers. So like Toyota is my example or whatever, who is like, this market's not here. We're never going to make money doing this. What's the deal? And then I think there was kind of a tepid and kind of like what you could interpret as an automaker as like some support federally for this. Like, hey, if this starts to take off, like we feel good about it. Like, you know, we're going to be behind you in these couple tepid little ways or whatever. And I think like as the market, because the federal support for it was too little, the market never gelled or materialized. You can never really incentivize Americans enough to make that switch. And then, so like it started to fizzle over the last 4 or 5 years, maybe 2 or 3 years. And then when Trump came in, it was like, you have permission to not do this now.
Right.
And it's like, it's not about, but it's like a car company.
The talk goes from EVs potentially becoming mandatory to EVs potentially becoming
illegal.
Banned.
Yeah.
Well, and we've talked so much about the infrastructure part too. Like, if you don't believe there's going to be any top-down support for that, it's Jover. Like, give up.
Yeah.
The average American can't even, like, the average American is putting their groceries on a pay-in-4. They can't buy EV charging infrastructure themselves.
Yeah.
No way.
Yeah. I think there was a time when it was like, as a car maker, you felt like for your investors and for kind of currying favor with the feds or whatever, like EVs were kind of like a thing that you had to do. And like everyone kind of felt good around, like not necessarily currying favor, but just like having like, it was like what we were doing. You know what I mean? Like it's what everyone's going to do. And like, you know, if you give automakers a permission to regress to a more profitable product, they will regress to a more profitable product. Like that's like, there's a big thing in auto journalism where it's like, these car companies are doing evil stuff and they're bad companies or whatever. And it's like, no, it's like the Nietzsche thing where it's like, you can't get mad at the hawk for eating the rabbit. It's like
right.
the hawk eats the rabbit. That's what he does. It's like, this is not, you know
It's
what
in
I
his
mean?
nature.
Yeah.
Sort of the immoral
but it's
versus
like,
amoral situation, right? Like,
yeah, but it's like a corporation of any kind. I'm sorry. Like it's like, it is a very liberal understanding of the world to believe that there are corporations that have some kind of like moral framework that like directs their action. It's like this
Right.
whole thing is about making money. And if you are the CEO or whatever, no matter how good of a person you are or are not, if you go to your board and say, "Hey, we lost a bunch of money," that's it. You're gone. Like they'll find somebody who's going to make the money. It's
Yeah.
like
No, I mean that's capitalism. Ultimately, you're beholden to the shareholder above all else. All of these
Yeah.
corporations, whether you make fucking cars or medicine or weapons or fucking computers or whatever, ultimately what your business is making money for shareholders.
exactly. And it's like that's like there's like like I said, there's like a lib-brain thing
Yes.
in automotive journalism where it's like, oh, this is evil or this is bad, and it's like, no,
Yeah.
dog, no. Like they're
yeah.
like
The problem
it's
is there's no such
efficient.
thing as a good company. They're all bad because they are companies.
They're just companies. That's the thing. Is like placing a moral judgment on a thing that is fundamentally incapable of making moral judgments itself is crazy.
Yes.
Like it's not good or bad. It's a hawk. It's eating the rabbit. It's like that's
Don't
what the
hate the
hawk
player.
does. It's like,
Hate the game.
and that's why like that's the liberal part of this too, is like the solution to that is to regulate and place guidelines around like what they are able to do, like very specific guidelines about what they're able to do. And like that's like to be in charge of and to have control over the behavior of these big amoral entities. But it's like the lib brain thing is like, well, no, we just need a good CEO who's nice. We
Right.
just need a good president who's cool like me.
Right.
And it's like wrong.
Right. Exactly.
You're incorrect.
Yeah. No, the only stimulus that a corporation responds to is some sort of like the only way you get results is by attacking them in the profit generating part of the brain, which is like if you have a very organized and very targeted and very disciplined movement for, say, a boycott, you can and maybe in some way influence the behavior of that corporation to do 1 degree less evil in a way that is really significant to you, but it takes something at the scope and level of diligence than like BDS has to even make a fraction of an impact on a corporation like that. And even then, you're hoping for the best. But like,
Yeah, I think like the real answer is not like it's it's like the company or the country who has successfully done their EV conversion and who has successfully done their solar conversion is the country that is not asking corporations what they think they need to do to make money. They are telling them,
yes.
you are going to make electric cars. You are going
Ding,
to
ding, 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 ding.
make solar panels, and that's the thing. It's like, yeah, you gotta have those guardrails. Otherwise, it's impossible. It's like, again, what do you expect? It's like I love people getting mad at car companies. I love people getting mad at drug companies or whatever. And it's like, dog, it's like this is what it is. Like this is what the thing is. You know what I mean? Like you can't get mad at it for being the thing. This is the whole order of our universe is set up to make this thing the thing, and you can't get mad now.
No, it's the system. I mean, the companies are the product of the system in which they exist, and that's
doesn't mean it can't be different. Doesn't mean it can't be better. Doesn't mean it can't be something else.
Yes,
but like
you can have a different system.
Yes,
yeah, it is not the CEO of this company is along for the ride just like everybody else. It's like they're not a rational or not. They're not rational. They are a hyper rational actor in this
Right.
exact
highly optimized
scenario.
actor in the system.
Yeah.
Well, and of course, you have the other problem that it's like the classic lib maneuver is to be, like you said, describe like, well, if this company had a better, more morally upright CEO, it would solve problems, which pulls people away from recognizing the actual issue at hand, which is that the whole fucking system is bad and wrong, and we have to tear it apart with our bare hands. But anyway, did we all see did everybody see all the libbing out that happened last weekend and how the world is totally materially better now? My conditions have changed, for sure.
I was on Mackinac Island.
Nice.
A world without cars. Actually, they do have some cars on the island.
Do you guys want to talk about the some troubles going on in the auto industry?
New ones? More of them?
Not really.
Because
now who's in trouble?
There's kind of a lot of these stories that have been in the news.
Ruh-roh.
Kind of touching a lot of different bases, but this is from a few days ago in the Wall Street Journal, and this is just a fun article because it taps on a number of these things that have been going on. The auto industry's bruising year of back-to-back supply chain snafus. It says assembly lines inside a Michigan factory. And Maddie, you can go to the droney doom music for this.
Yes. Our article reading music is Sarin Gas by Frugivore from the album Void, which I will link to you on Bandcamp.
Yeah, thanks, Ben. Assembly lines inside a Michigan factory that turns out high-end Jeep SUVs ground to a halt last week and won't resume production until early next month. The cause, according to an official for the United Auto Workers, is a shortage of aluminum. Ford has paused production at 3 plants for the same reason. Between the two automakers, thousands of workers in Michigan and Kentucky are now collecting unemployment. The automotive supply chain, a sprawling web of companies across the world, is in focus in a way it hasn't been since the early 2020s, when a severe shortfall of semiconductor chips hobbled the industry. The early 2020s, mind you, this is 2025, so we're just talking about like the...
A couple years ago.
Yeah. So, I mean, you could just say it's been ongoing since then.
Yeah.
Auto executives routinely tout a lesson from that moment. Don't rely too heavily on any one supplier. Now supplies of multiple items are gummed up at the same time. The confluence of issues is once in a lifetime, said Sam Fiorani, an analyst with consulting firm Auto Forecast Solutions. I feel like any time we're talking about once in a lifetime things at this kind of juncture in history, it's
They're
like
all that.
Yeah. We haven't seen this happen before. The lessons learned from semiconductors should have prepared the manufacturer for some problems in the supply chain, but all of these at once are unforeseen and very difficult to navigate. All this is rattling an industry that has already been hampered by billions of dollars in tariff payments and costly pivot away from electric vehicles. Last week, General Motors said the EV pullback would cost it $1.6 billion. Stellantis unveiled a $13 billion U.S. investment plan that will help defray its tariff bill. So I'm not clicking. I mean, that's a link. I'm not clicking on that link. Yeah. $13 billion seems like a lot of money to invest in order to defray a bill. U.S. car sales are on pace this year to end slightly above the 15.9 million sold in 2024, according to S&P Global Mobility. Next year doesn't look too promising. However, total production and sales are expected to dip, with tariffs weighing more on automakers and the average price of a vehicle remaining elevated now around $50,000. Talks a bit about the tariffs. Industry-wide, the cost exceeds $12 billion. And then apparently this aluminum shortage is because of a plant in Oswego, New York, which is just an hour or two east of here, up on Lake Ontario, a town that I've driven through, and that my buddy Herman likes to go. He has some friends with bars there that he likes to go and hang out in Oswego. But yeah, they had a big fire a few weeks ago, and Yeah, Ford obviously, I mean, their big seller, the F-150, is made entirely out of aluminum, so they're kind of fucked. But also Toyota, Hyundai, Volkswagen, Stellantis all rely on aluminum from this factory. 3-alarm fire on September 16th brought down part of the factory's roof, requiring 26 area fire departments to extinguish. Cause remains under investigation. Anyway, yeah. At the same time, a strange and ongoing geopolitical dispute is causing more concern that car production around the world could be upended in a matter of weeks. Have you guys been following this story about Nexperia?
No.
Nexperia is a Netherlands-based chip maker that based in the Netherlands, but all of their manufacturing is in China. And at some point a few years back, they were in some trouble, and so Nexperia got bought out by a Chinese parent company. So this big Dutch chip maker that makes all of their stuff in China and is actually owned by the Chinese. Basically, they Trump basically threatened the Dutch and said that we have security concerns about these chips, and we need you to expropriate this company from its Chinese parent company. And so they did. So the Dutch have taken over this. The Netherlands, the country, has basically stolen this company from its Chinese owners, despite the fact that all of their manufacturing is in China. And so what China has done in a kind of tit for tat, I mean, the way that China has been kind of responding to all of these, tariff and industrial threats coming from the U.S. Has been not to escalate, but just to kind of match. It's like, okay, well, if you're doing that, then we'll do this. And so the Chinese response to this is basically just to stop exporting these chips, and which is potentially having some big consequences. This is a tweet from a woman named Kathleen Tyson, who points out the most dependent companies in Europe for components from frozen and sanctioned Nexperia are Volkswagen, BMW, Stellantis, Bosch, ASML, which is another Dutch chip maker, Siemens, and Airbus. Germany wasn't deindustrializing fast enough to please the Trump administration. Substitution of alternatives will take 12 to 18 months. Just-in-time sourcing means production shutdowns in the interim are inevitable. Nexperia was efficiently delivering more than 90 billion components a year. The scale of Netherlands' sabotaging of Europe is massive and likely permanent. And then she quotes, I don't know where this quote comes from, but she says, if Europe steals Russian sovereign reserves while going around stealing Chinese businesses because the Americans told them to, then Europe becomes uninvestable and the euro and sterling become unusable, not just for China and Russia, but for anybody that is not the U.S. or under U.S. control. Think about what that means for European prosperity. So yeah, that's fun. Back to the Wall Street Journal. John Bozella, chief executive of the Alliance for Automotive Innovation, says, which is the top U.S. car industry group, warned that the Nexperia situation could deteriorate quickly and affect the global economy. If the shipment of automotive chips doesn't resume quickly, it's going to disrupt auto production in the US and many other countries and have a spillover effect in other industries. It's that significant. So yeah, that's all happening. Meantime, this is from a recent Financial Times story. German industrial output falls to 2005 levels as auto sector craters. This is based on August data that is just in. Overall industrial production fell 4.3% in August compared with the previous month. But output in the all-important car industry in Germany is down 18.5% over the previous month. Dropping like a stone, says global head of macro Karsten Brzezinski wrote in a note to clients.
Yeah, I mean, I think, a lot of these indicators are out there in the economy saying, like, all this is fake, it's going to blow up, we're headed towards an irrecoverable recession or whatever. But the corollary, the other part of that is, what if AI fixes it? So,
or just what if it doesn't happen?
I mean, that is honestly like the. I've been in doom and gloom mode on the broadest economy since like 2014 or 15, because it's like you look at stuff and you're like, durable goods orders are way down. There's no one's buying equipment for their factories anymore. Yada yada, and then it's just like, years past, you'd be like, oh, within the next 6 months we're gonna have a major like correction or whatever, and then it's like, what if we just don't? What if we just
don't?
Yeah.
Listen, sometimes you're in high school physics and you're making that toothpick bridge and you just keep putting more weight on it, and everyone's like, this could go for this could go forever. We made the perfect bridge. No problem.
We're out of weight. Yeah. I remember, I was telling this story the other night, but I remember I met this guy from, did I tell you the BlackRock story?
Yeah.
Okay. Did I say this on the pod?
Yeah.
Okay. Anyway, yeah, that again, where it's just like, yeah, this doesn't seem good or right. And then it's like, I don't know, maybe it is.
We're all on our Liz Franchek tip where it's like, no, the market will crash. Just wait. It will, but I don't know when. But it will.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that's true. If you keep predicting that, it will eventually happen.
Yeah.
I would have been wrong so many times predicting it. But I think, look, I think AI has this. I think someone is at the Fed right now is trying to find the right prompt to put into Chat GTP, GPT, or whatever. That's like, how fix economy bad, fix, like those types of things. And like, eventually it will come back with the correct answer, and then we're good.
Yeah.
I think,
it's going to say, that's a great insight. No, it's not only great, it's fantastic. And we're going to walk you through the steps to fix the economy.
You could say, okay, Chat GPT or whatever, give me a solution for this aluminum bottleneck that's happening over here. And they'll be like, have you Googled
the aluminum thing seems, that's kind of like an old school supply chain thing. Because I mean, that's just, okay, there was a fire.
We understand
the other stuff, the trade war, tariff, expropriation of Chinese companies whose factories you don't actually have control over. These feel like larger and more systemic and maybe unnavigable things. There's also the this is from the Telegraph from a couple days ago. Americans can't afford their cars anymore, and Wall Street is worried. Goldman Sachs president warns it's not going to be pretty as default fears mount.
This conversation has been happening though too. Like that's the thing is like we've been. I remember thinking like 8 years ago. It's like, oh man, this feels a lot like the housing crisis, where it's like everybody has these assets.
Yep.
The graphs sure look funny. They sure look similar. It's funny that everything looks the same as it did then.
Well, and it's operating the exact same way, where they're pooling these kind of securities, you know, together and selling them, or basically like betting on them. But I mean, there's a Jacobin story about this too. Tricolor Holdings, a large subprime auto lender and used car dealer, filed for Chapter 7 bankruptcy on September 10th. First Brands, a major auto parts supplier, followed suit on September 29th, falling for Chapter 11. These firms' financial intertwinement with Wall Street is exposing something structural beyond the decline of two companies. UBS holds over $500 million in debt exposure to First Brands, while investment bank Jefferies last week revealed its $715 million involvement with the company's invoice financing scheme. JP Morgan, BlackRock, and Fifth Third Bank all stand to lose hundreds of millions of dollars in the collapse of Tricolor, a company once hailed as a progressive, ESG certified, that's environmental, social, and governance investment. Tricolor bankruptcy proceedings estimated total liabilities between 1 and 10 billion. Two stories can be told here. One concerns the fourfold increase in non-depository financial institutions like Tricolor, with funding from commercial banks, which now totals $1.7 trillion, according to Barron's. The second story feels like a flashback to the foreclosure crisis. Tranches of AAA rated asset-backed securities are going belly up after vulnerable consumers were extended credit. Some more predatory lending stuff. Yeah, I mean, exactly what you said, Rory.
Yeah, it's like the signs are all there. And it's like, you know, we've talked about this in the pod before too, but it's like, hey, I can't afford my Chevy Suburban or whatever, and it's like, well, you can just roll it into another one. It's like, just keep it going, and it's like, it's kind of like a modern monetary theory thing, because it's like, you know, it's like, I guess, yeah, you can just do that. You know what I mean? It's like what's the difference? The bank keeps approving your credit. They keep putting you in a new car. You keep making the payment, kind of. It's like, can we just do that forever? It's like, yeah, I guess we can. It's like, never mind the fact that you owe $500,000 on a 10-year-old Chevy Suburban or whatever that you haven't driven. That's like on its fourth owner now. You know what I mean? Right. But it's like, as long as the jig's never up, as long as like it never gets called.
Well, the thing is,
can you just do it forever?
I mean, it's I mean, no, but the fact that all of Western capitalism, the entire global economic structure of the planet, depends on it continuing.
That's what I mean. It's like I think the big lesson from the housing crisis was just don't let that happen. And it's like, so it's like whatever needs to happen bailout wise, whatever needs to happen, like like kind of safety net wise, is what'll happen. I think like that's like, you know, people are like, oh, no one learned a lesson from the housing crisis or whatever. Like people are still behaving recklessly with their investing behavior or whatever, packaging this stuff up. And it's like, I think the lesson is that politically it's impossible to imagine anybody letting that happen again. So it's like these behaviors we didn't learn a lesson. I think the people who are who are doing
the
that.
lesson is we can get away with this forever.
That's the lesson. Yeah, that's the lesson. And it's like, and not only that, but like the risk of the government being kind of late to intervene and like intervening at a point where like things have already gone very bad. Like, I think the lesson here is like the government will be very proactive. Like not just the U.S. government, but like governments globally. Like nobody wants to see that happen again. No one can afford to have that happen again. So it's like that's
I mean, it is I mean, that is true in one sense, but the countervailing factor is that we are no longer talking. You can't talk about the global economy as being a monolithic thing anymore, because increasingly it is becoming two distinct things, and with this kind of east-west divide, or global south divide, however you want to frame it, I mean, and this tweet, there's that Walter Bloomberg guy posted this thing yesterday. Trump administration considering plan to restrict globally produced exports to China made with or containing U.S. software, sources say. And that guy Arnaud Bertrand replied to this and says, and this is great, and it speaks to what I'm talking about. This is easily the most suicidal idea the Trump administration has cooked up in its trade war, and that's a high bar. In effect, this would make American technology radioactive. Any company touching U.S. software, Microsoft, AWS, etc., becomes ineligible to do business with the world's largest economy in PPP terms, meaning China, of course. A German auto supplier using Windows can't sell to Chinese car makers. A Japanese manufacturer using Amazon, too bad, you lost the Chinese market. If this goes forward, we're likely to see global companies rushing to purge every trace of U.S. software from their tech stacks.
God, I wish that were
Wang
me.
Yi's Wang Yi said recently that if the U.S. seeks to decouple from China, all it will achieve is to decouple itself from the world. This policy would vastly accelerate exactly that outcome. And I do see that I feel like that decoupling is becoming increasingly inevitable, whether you're talking about it in industrial terms, whether you're talking about it in monetary terms with, dollar, being the global reserve currency. Yeah. That is increasingly not something that can be counted on. Yeah, I mean, it's just like the geopolitical currents, I feel like are moving in a direction that that could make that that ability to perpetually forestall the house of cards falling, collapsing upon itself. I feel like that our ability to forestall that.
I mean,
forever,
I don't know. I mean, it's like
could be waning.
Yeah, I would agree with that totally, except for the fact that like everything that I understood about what is real in the world and like what is like cause and effect, turns out to not be real. And it's like at some point it's like I don't know, like it's all of the economics as a study, as a pursuit is not really fixed to anything. You know what I mean? Like it's not like gravity.
Oh yeah, fake science.
Yeah.
Fake degree.
So it's like I don't know. I'm very interested to see like how far can you push it? You know what I mean? It's like do you
Well,
end up
yeah,
in some kind of
I think
like
you'll get to find out.
some kind of like Kim Stanley Robinson like techno futurist, where it's like actually there is no money anymore and we don't, you know what I mean? It's like that could happen, sure. You know what I mean? Like probably not in a good like logical reasoned way, but it's like I guess, and I think like I've said this on the pod before, but I think like in a way that it has
I
not.
think that could. I mean, the thing is, I think that could happen. I don't think that can happen here.
Yeah.
But
Step
it's
one,
like
blow us up, and then we
no,
can
but it's
begin to
like
have better things.
but that's the thing is like everything feels on the table in a way that it never has in my lifetime, and I think like you know whether that's a product of like some self-induced economic catastrophe or like an evolution towards something else or whatever the thing is, it just feels like I said, everything feels totally unmoored. Where it's like, and it's like it, too, like the assumptions about what is conservative, what is progressive, what is like pro business, anti business, all that like that stuff's totally out the window. It's all just vibes. It's like you know what I mean, like that like the traditional kind of like understanding of like how we operate this big machine gone. You know what I mean? Like it's like I don't know. I think like I think probably the reality is we will be isolated and things will crash and get really bad. Um, but it's also like I don't know. Maybe it won't. You know what I mean? Maybe something else will happen. Who knows? Like, I don't. I just can't. Like I said, I can't count on, or I don't feel like I can count on any like cause and effect. You know what I mean?
We
Like,
talked about this last week. Yeah, you can't.
yeah,
Nothing can be assumed to be a meritocracy, and in fact, you probably get better results by assuming that the more fake the thing is you're doing, the better
the
results you
better.
get from it. But this is why economics is fake, and there is only one true discipline, which is the immortal science of Marxism. Thank you.
I thought you were gonna say kung fu, but yeah, also kung fu.
That's true. If you have both, you're unstoppable.
That's true. Everyone says it.
Can you imagine if you were the kung fu Marxist?
That's a
Bruh.
good lane. You could do that.
Someone's out there doing that. We got to figure out. We got to find out.
Not very well. Not if if they were doing it well, you would know about them.
Well, it could be happening in China. I don't speak. I don't know. I don't know how to look at Chinese
That's
internet.
true.
There could
Actually,
there could be a bunch of those guys.
that's a good point. It's probably happening quite a lot in China.
I know.
It's probably like a pretty common type of guy in China, actually.
God, I wish that were us. Oh my god. Okay, so we have to. Step one, we're all moving to Australia. Step two, we have to start a new pod where we just find kung fu Marxists and interview them.
Yep, I think that's safe too, because like Australia eventually is just going to be part of China. I think
That's why we gotta get there now. We gotta get in. We gotta get in before it becomes like the Chinese
Hard to get in.
protectorate of like of culture, where it's like, okay, well, we're in the the Australian special economic zone. I gotta get there. I gotta go. I gotta bail.
We're performing kung fu Marxism research.
Yeah.
Yeah. I gotta hop off
Oh,
in a
you're
second
fine.
here.
We have tons of stuff.
Yeah, I feel like that might be a good place to call it.
Wonderful,
All right.
excellent.
Professor of Kung Fu
Marxism.
Marxist Studies.
The Kung
at
Fu Marxist. That's got to be
University of
somebody's Twitter
Brisbane.
handle. Yeah, University of Sydney Kung Fu Marxist.
Yeah.
Perfect.
I'm actually head of the Kung Fu Marxism department. And I will be until someone can defeat me.
That's how it works. Yeah. No, you only can be the Kung Fu Marxist online if you beat the last guy who had that URL. It's a canon URL. You got to get in there.
It's like being the president.
Yeah. God, I wish that were how that worked. I think it'd probably be a little better. Man.
Could be like a black belt in Marxism.
Yeah.
I'm a yellow belt. I'm a yellow belt in Kung Fu, but I'm a black belt in Marxism.
That's when you've read like everything, like and all your. They do a spine check on your bookshelf and they upgrade your belt.
Yep.
No used books, no cheating.
That's right. Yeah. All right. Stay tired.
Nice work, fellas.
Stay tired.
All right.
Good one.
That was a weird one. All right.
We've had weirder.
Yes.
Yeah. I liked it.
Perfect.
All right.
There you go.
Peace.
Bye bye.